All right, I saw a video today that I want to talk about, so we're gonna watch a little bit. I'll stop and pause, give you my thoughts, and we'll just work our way through this video.
Can you build muscle doing 1 rep per set? Bicep curls, 1 rep max. Lateral raise, 1 rep max. Pull down, 1 rep.
All right, my name is Jake. Full transparently, I sell low rep set programs. I have a whole complete system. I wrote a manual on this system. I've personally been using low rep hypertrophy sets since 2013. When I started my own company in 2018, it was my most popular, it still is my most popular program and system, and it's a continuous program. It's not just 12 weeks. I've got years of this programming, and it's the system that people have trained on the longest. I have people that started in 2018. I have people that are still training on it today. They never stopped. I just finished front squats. I'm gonna do deadlifts after this. So I say that to say, as somebody who lives this low rep hypertrophy set life, I would never promote bicep curls, lateral raises, tricep extensions, no isolated, no single joint exercises. That is not representing the low rep hypertrophy set concept. So right off the bat, I don't like the misrepresentation, whether it was on purpose or I don't know if he's ever used a low rep set program. So I can't speak for him, but I can just speak for my viewpoint, my perspective. It's starting off on the wrong foot. It's not going to give this idea a fair shot because that's not how it's used. In fact, in the studies, some of the issues I have with the studies where you see, oh, it's similar between the low and versus high. Some of the issues I personally have is when you look at it, the study, the design, they use bicep curls, leg extensions, and they use these exercises that I would never use for this concept. So if you're reading one of these studies and you see leg extension, bicep curl, that's a hard stop for me. I can't get by that. So let's just keep watching and see what else comes up.
Think about it. The closer you get to failure, the more muscle you recruit, especially those big, high threshold fibers.
Okay, so the closer you get to failure, the more, yes, that's true. What he's not telling you is those motor units he's talking about, you can literally recruit them with a max effort vertical jump. And it has nothing to do with reps near failure. It has everything to do with effort. And that is the beauty of low rep sets, because you are going to pair effort with load. The load is going to slow the weight down enough that when you put max effort, it's got the appropriate time of tension throughout the rep. In my manual, I talk about this quite extensively. People have kind of misinterpreted the idea of time under tension, and some of these things have been redefined, and that's one of the reasons I wrote the manual, is because there are a lot of things that get taken out of context. So the idea that you need to be reps near failure to recruit these magical motor units is not true. He's not wrong either. That's the problem, is he's right. What he said is right. It's just he didn't say, he left out the part that it's effort. The reps near failure, you have to increase effort because you're failing. You're running out of fuel, whatever, however you want to put it, so your effort goes up and your body has to recruit these fibers. That's why when they say reps near failure matter most, that's why. Because that's when they tap into those motor units he's talking about. With low rep sets, you can start the first rep, 1, 2, 3 reps, right? If you're doing 1, 2, or 3 reps per set, all of them are going to recruit those magical motor units he's talking about. The other thing, going back just to the first part of the video, he said 1 rep max. Low rep sets, in my opinion, is 1 to 3 reps per set. So it's not just 1 rep, and I do use singles quite extensively, but they're sub-max. You're finding the sweet spot. I talk about this in my manual, where you're putting enough load that it slows the bar down enough if you're into velocity-based training. I talk about the speeds, the bar speeds. So is he wrong? No. But is there another way to get to those motor units he's talking about? Absolutely. That's why the low rep hypertrophy sets work. Let's see what's next.
And here's the thing, a single max effort rep will also activate those fibers. So could you just skip all the earlier reps and hit 1 all-out rep instead? Probably.
Let's just stop it right there, because even the reps he's showing, even if it was a compound exercise, you would read not only in my manual, but in my program. My programs and systems are littered with coaching notes. You're never hitting a rep like that. That is a slow, sloppy rep. That's too sloppy. So just a video. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose. I don't know his intention. I don't know if he just doesn't. Maybe he's never heard an alternative way, but you're not getting to a sloppy rep like that, and you're not doing it with tricep extensions or bicep curls.
Catch: one heavy rep creates a ton of tension, and research shows that low rep ranges, like 2 to 4 reps, can build just as much muscle as 8 to 12 reps, as long as total volume is matched.
Let's stop right there because this one really gets me. They're really big on saying when volume is matched. They say the muscle's similar when volume is matched. Let's break it down. When volume is matched, that means when you read these studies, they're equating pounds. So you will read studies that compare 30 reps to 6 reps because they're keeping the poundage. And to me, if I've got to do more of something to get the same of something else, that's admission that it's more efficient to use lower rep sets because I can use more weight. I'm lifting more weight at a time. If it's about the weight, equating the volume, as they put it, the tonnage, the pounds lifted, if that's what it's about, then it's contradictive to say that low rep sets aren't more efficient because I'm lifting more weight per rep. So you're telling me I only have to do, I don't have to do as many reps with heavier weight, but you got to do more. It doesn't make sense. The other thing is, they'll say this, they'll repeat it. Studies show, 2 to 4 reps are the same as 8 to 12, however they want to put it. Nobody talks about this part, is these studies, some of them are like 7, 8, 9 weeks, 12 weeks. Most of them are under 20 weeks. And that's if they're not using bicep curls, leg extensions like we talked about earlier. But nobody talks about, okay, let's say that is true. It's similar. Let's say it is true at 8 weeks, at 12 weeks, whatever. Nobody has been able to say at week 52, what's the answer then? At week 104, right? What about 3 years? I'm not training for 12 weeks. So people assume a study that's 8 weeks long, they assume that the efficacy or the results are sustained forever. And I don't know if that's people doing it on purpose. Maybe there's bias. But if you truly want to challenge somebody, get them to specify, okay, what study is it? Get them to specify how long was the study. And then ask them, okay, that study was 12 weeks. Would you say that the results would be the same at week 52? And if they say, I don't know, then you can't trust them. Because you just can't make assumptions from these studies. And a lot of people do, and it gives the low rep set hypertrophy concept that makes so much sense to a lot of people. There's a lot of logic. It makes sense. And I've talked about this. It's crab mentality. Crab mentality, you got crabs in a bucket. You got one crab going for the top. He's going to escape. The other crab's pulling back down. I don't know what it is about this topic, but if somebody builds traction on this topic, you see a bunch of people come out, talk about, oh, it's dangerous. Oh, it's not efficient. And they misrepresent the idea. They try to pull it back down. I don't know why. I don't know what the emotional tie is. But if you talk to people who use the system, they're going to tell you they feel like a superhuman. They're going to tell you, I've never looked like this. You hear all kinds of success stories. So let's just keep going and see what's next.
And that's the key. You need high tension, but you also need to stay under that tension for long enough. With just 1 rep, you're not getting enough exposure time. So you'd have to do a lot of heavy 1 rep maxes, like 10 or more in one workout.
It's just misrepresenting. Nobody's doing 10 1 rep maxes. It's all sub-max work. It's a system. It's a cascade. I talk about this where you only need the load that puts you in the speed that's conducive to hypertrophy. Once you get there, you're there. And now the decision is how many times do I want to repeat it? And if I'm getting to the 9th and 10th set where I'm only doing 10 sets and I increase the load and I purposely hit that threshold where, yeah, I'm fatigued, my performance is down because I'm done with the exercise, I'm going to the next one. but nobody's doing 10 1-rep maxes, nobody. The reps and reserves I talk about in my manual, most of the working sets are going to be around 3. I show the math on reps and reserves and reps near failure, and I show all the breakdown. I look at energy systems, recovery. A lot of people don't look at this part. It's very black and white as far as work to rest ratio. I break that down in the manual. And I don't know the angle here. I don't know, maybe, I'm just sharing my opinions, but this is not representing the low rep hypertrophy set system.
Or in one workout. Not only is that way more fatiguing, it's also less safe.
Less safe. I've heard that my whole life. Baseball player, weights are dangerous. Overhead press is dangerous. There's so many things that people, I don't know why they like that to insert the fear. Here's one on safety. When I started doing low rep set hypertrophy sets, tendinitis, impingement, little tweaks in my pec, all that stuff, it's gone. Because I stopped lifting with fatigue and I started lifting with load and strength. And so all my reps are efficient. I'm not lifting, I'm not pushing and grinding out these sloppy reps. The low rep hypertrophy set system are gonna put you in a very high quality rep range every set, and you stop getting the nagging injuries. You just do. Overuse, right? Repetitive motions over and over. That's what causes these breakdowns and chronic injuries. And so can you say, hey, low rep sets are safer or more dangerous? No, I think they're safer. Can you tear a muscle? Absolutely, but there's a difference in lifting heavy, lifting too heavy. Nobody's saying to lift too heavy, and the way this video is representing like lifting 10 1-rep maxes in a workout, nobody's doing that. That's not what this is. So there's a difference in lifting heavy and too heavy. There's also a difference in lifting heavy with full range of motion and heavy with not full range of motion, or using compensation or cheating or bad form. There is none of that. It's all very high quality focused reps. Let's see how the video ends.
Less safe and less practical than just doing normal sets of 5 to 10 reps.
It's less practical. Look, I'm in the market of who is this for? If it sounds like it's for you, then it is. If it sounds like it's not for you, it's not. It's not for everybody, and it's not just a cute saying. It's just, whenever I talk about low rep hypertrophy sets, I would never. There's a bunch of people I would never use it on. So the question of, is it practical in how it's framed in this video? No, it's not practical, but that's also not representing the idea or the concept. So that's my honest take on the video. I had many people tagging me today. I have my take on all of it is, it's my opinion. I'm going to add it. And personally, when I see stuff like this, it doesn't influence me at all, because it's almost, to this point, when I see stuff like this, it almost feels like I'm being gaslighted. Like, I do this every day. It's not what it is. So if you want to learn more, there's a link. You can click it. I've got a manual. I've got free weeks. I've got all kinds of stuff. Check it out. Let me know what you think.